anyone knows another person that's more enthusiastic about water, please let me know, because ever since I met him, he's always been about water and having many conversations with them. It's actually been very, very knowledgeable for Americans, right? To know all the interesting stats about water, especially the privilege, of course, that we have to have access to water and all the rest. And so knowing Jacob has just been a great joy over the years. So of course, when he asked me to MC, I was honored to do it. I've been super impressed with him and what he's built up from just being the water guy. I mean, he still is the water guy. Let's be honest, right? And no one beats Jacob there. But now he's built this nonprofit, right? It's not just a startup anymore. He's going to Peru. He's doing all these amazing things, him and his team. And I think it's an honor. It's a privilege for all of us to be a part of it tonight and help him out in the best way that we can, and the ministry and the nonprofit that Vera Aqua Vera Vitae has become. I think it's just it's awesome. So Jacob, I don't think he's still here, but wanted to thank him for everything that he's done, and Fernanda, my goodness, what she must have to put up with as well. Lovely woman. And thank her for, thank them for the mission that God has called them to. I think it's a calling that we are all called to. What did Christ say in the Gospels, right? If anyone were to give a cup of cold water to one of these little ones, great is the reward in heaven. I hope I didn't butcher that gospel too much, but I think it's something along that lines. And great it is, right? And so tonight, oh my gosh, I mean, what an awesome opportunity it is to do that, to give a cup of cold water to one of these little ones, maybe not physically, right, as of now, but spiritually, of course, through our prayers, and also financially through our means. So, of course, we ask, nobody is shy to what this night is, and we ask everyone to be generous to the best of their means for us to achieve that goal of really helping these Peruvian people, but not just them, because I know, if anybody knows Jacob, he's got high ideals and ambitions, and this thing isn't just going to be for Peru. I mean, we're going worldwide here. And we all know that the world, there's all these facts that I'm going to go through as well, but the underdeveloped world and water is a crisis, no doubt. And so tonight we have a beautiful opportunity to do that. So I think what we're going to begin with now, okay, I have a few announcements. First off, I want to thank and recognize Emmeline Miles for the beautiful music that we had over the cocktail hour. Thank you very much, Emmeline. You were awesome, beautiful, lovely voice. Thank you. As well, so Spotlight Photo Booth and the social media challenge. If you haven't done that, feel free to do that, as well as the silent auction, all the games that we have going on with the water table in the back over there, as well as the golden ticket. There's an old joke, a $1 bill meets a $100 bill. And the $1 bill says to the $100 bill, "Oh my gosh, $100 bill! Wow, I'm so honored and impressed. I've always been admired by you, and in many ways, I'm jealous. I'm jealous of you as a $100 bill." And the $100 bill looks at him and says, "No, $1 bill. Listen. It is I who am jealous of you. You get to go to church on Sundays." Okay, it might be a little bit true. Okay, that's not going to be happening tonight. All right. It's not going to be happening tonight. $100 bills, be generous with your $100 bills. Okay, speaking of $100 bills, we have the golden ticket. It's $100 chance to win trip to Cabo, nice, trip to Vegas, or a trip to Tuscany. So $100, not a bad return on your investment if you put that in, and it's a win-win because you're given to tonight's event and to Vera Aqua and Vera Vitae. So silent auction, that ends actually at 8 p.m. Silent auction ends at 9, and there's a bunch of other amazing gifts there as well. The wine and liquor pool table, which I thought was pretty cool. $40 for liquor, $20 for wine, and it's going to be a surprise. You don't know what you're going to get, so that's fun and exciting. Okay, that is it for me for now. And we're going to play a little video, if we can get that going, and then I believe we will eat. So Nick, if we could play that video. Thank you.
Have your beard, they don't recognize you. Oh my God.
I'm using it. I'm using it and I'm making it mine. That's me. I'm just saying. I have a best friend who collects them way better than I do, though. So I get to select from his repertoire, the ones I like, most, you know. Yeah. Yeah. Long story. I love those. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. My grandson.
I got us one of those. I mean, it was a 20-minute joke. And we're trying to be polite grandparents listening to this, you know. And, oh, he got us so bad. No, humor, we need more of it, don't we? You know? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Where?
In Mississippi, and there we always, you know. I thought it would be a break.
Yeah, of course. That's what
Yeah,
you ever
and
been-
an Irish priest must start a sermon with a joke. You can't have a sermon without a joke.
When you're over there, you just recognize this. I thought that was outrageous, you know?
One thing. Not in their homes, nor in the schools. Not how they drive and train. They cannot learn to play as much as they would like. This is our story about non-human friends and about their aqua variegators way to make the dreams a reality. Let's travel to Peru. Peru is the third largest country in South America, after Brazil and Argentina. Piura is one of Peru's northwestern regions, surrounded by desert landscapes, tropical dry forests, and Pacific coastlines. Cerdeña is Maya's home. There are 550 people living there, 176 of which are children, and the community itself has 2 schools. Maya dreams of going to school every day, so she can learn to read and write, and eventually start a career of her own to help her family and community. She dreams that she can spend her free and now running in the fields and playing with friends, so that she can grow up strong and healthy. Unfortunately, not even a few talents. Like many of children who grow up in the community, it's Maya's responsibility to bring enough water for her whole family every single day. Maya walks about a mile, carrying a heavy water back to provide for the family's needs. To make matters worse, Maya knows that the water is not safe for her family to drink. Cerdeña takes water from a river with a host of 13 different types of organic and inorganic contaminants that cause chronic and fatal illnesses. Maya has watched the community get sick over and over because of bad water and poor sanitation practices. Because of these illnesses and the responsibility and time it takes to retrieve water, Maya misses 12 to 15 hours of school every week. That's almost half of the school. That's where we come in. Very often, variegated plants out all the children and families inside the place. By putting water into contaminated into clean water systems built within the community. That means that every resident will have access to water, the most essential ingredient for a healthy environment. It is a perfect community with safe water, sanitation, and cleaning practices, so that they can better protect against future health concerns. The Bureau of Variegated intends to complete construction on Cerdeña's clean water system and another before the end of this year. Down the line, Every one of the 7 communities were fully equipped with essential health practices and received a life-changing gift of clean, accessible water. Without the danger and strain of Sarah De Leon's water stress, Maya will get to play and learn like she always wanted. This clean water system will certainly aggregate water, but eventually also health, education, freedom, higher quality of life, and upward mobility for Sarah De Leon's and every one of the 7 communities. Want to thank you.
Hello. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for that video. And there was also towards the end there a pitch there for the golden ticket. Okay, I think everyone has some food, so we're going to do a blessing. If you already started eating, that's fine. We'll make it retroactive. No big deal there. In the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, amen. Lord Jesus, we thank you very much for this night. Thank you for bringing us together. Thank you for the mission of Vera Aqua and Vera Vitae and what it's doing for the people of Peru. We ask that the blessings that come forth from this night, bless those people, bless our brothers and sisters that are there, your sons and your daughters. We ask you to bless us, help us to know, love, and fulfill God's most holy will for our lives. Thank you for all those that are here. Thank you for the volunteers that have put this night together. And we ask in a special way, Mary's protection. Today is Our Lady of Fatima. And so for Mary's protection for us and for all those that need her protection this day. And bless us, O Lord, and these thy gifts, which we are about to receive from thy bounty through Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Amen. I think we have one more video to play and then everybody dig in, eat up. There's still the silent auction is going on and everything else that I had mentioned previous is still happening. So feel free to enjoy that as well. Thank you. Good job. You're talking about me? I just had the national meeting and the same thing happened to me. I didn't get to go because I got sick. I mean, I got to go for a little tiny bit. Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, yes, I played there, yes. And now he chooses pickleball over tennis. Me too.
Yeah, we played. Jim's good. Jim played tennis and high school. But yeah, she's good at
Yeah, but you can't use your tennis technique in pickleball. You gotta just push that ball over.
different good ball bounces and everything.
I would say the first thing that's most important, that I think I did make this as a mistake. People wanted me to still promote it, and that was, as soon as you're retired, everybody still knows you, everybody's still back in their circle of thinking. And so they asked 1,000 things. You know, yeah, I probably got asked to be in 10 boards, all these things. Yeah. And so, well, 10 is more, but a lot. So I go to 6 boards or something. It's ridiculous. And then I immediately stopped enjoying being on board. So once I managed that all, and I kind of stayed on the boards I like, but it's not like I hated the boards, but it's too much. But I found that really hard, but I didn't think it still worked that much. You need to get eventually stimulate it, but there's a million ways to do that. Because I restarted a market research company just for fun. And it was very successful. Right? And my son took it over, and now I retired from it, and he's making a living. Yeah. So that, I feel like that was my best. Oh, that's the reality.
And so he's all over the world.
And he's opened offices everywhere. He's done way more with it than I would. Well, we've got a number of clients, and the biggest client right now that is probably is and he basically does all of the market research. They don't even have any research. And he has, I mean, he's got clients in airlines, electronics, I mean, just very,
You know,
Gary, I mean, it's just very interesting. Well, in fact, for a year, as a part of this, I consulted with Panda Express. I actually went out there 3 days, every other week. And I helped them develop their menu. It's really fun work. Steve is really close friends with him. Really close association with him. He did something really, really smart. I was one of the first people to be a client of this new company that has software driven services. Because now anyway you can buy services on the internet. It used to be by telephone, used to be people would go involved, you can't do any of that. But this company, really high tech software. So I started using them, and that's who I got Steve from using also. A big company. They decided that to them, because they didn't really do the market research themselves, they would just have the software. So they would ask them to do their market research, they couldn't do it. Instead of hiring market researchers to do that, they put out a request for proposal from market research companies to be one of their suppliers. Stephen got one. So probably 30 to 60% of his business at any given point in time is from them. So he didn't have any people. So yeah. Yeah. So he doesn't, one of the problems with market research is they don't sell it, which takes a lot of time, and you got to do his work. Doing the work is really in a way that he's selling for it. But at any rate, so half of his business comes automatically. And so it's a slightly lower margin than he would otherwise make, but it's guaranteed. So it's fantastic. Yeah, he lives in Dallas, although right now he's actually living in Puerto Rico, but just only because he's, at any rate, he's got some tax reasons he's holding out, but Right, that's what we are, really. I don't, but we respond to it. So it's gotta be in the materials.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if we reach out.
His name is, when I started the company, you're gonna laugh because this sounds so stupid, but my last name is Risky. So I named it Risky Business Solutions.
Oh, that's.
So I thought that was a great name. And when Steven joined me, I thought he liked the name. The minute I left the company, he changed the name.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's all on there.
What's it called?
Drop.
Drop.
You know what a strop is?
No.
A strop is the little belt thing that you do, you sharpen your razor on.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was a clever idea.
That's
But the main
clever.
reason he did it was he wanted to bring on another partner.
Yes.
And he thought it wasn't fair to have
His
a
last
partner
name.
when it's his last name,
That
so.
makes sense. Yeah. Yes.
But
That is
anyway, I'm really
very
proud of him. He's doing
interesting.
really, really well.
Good for him. That is awesome. I hope, I mean, I don't know too much about the industry, but our friend Charvel, who's the California refugee, part of his story, I mean, he even did work to help like. I believe. Yeah. Mhm. You think so? Yeah. Yeah. So we might have.
Yeah, they probably, I'm sure on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
He was there to get his gun.
Okay.
Wow.
Very cool.
Wow.
All right, we have a few water trivia
Oh,
questions.
yeah, go for it.
We're gonna do that.
Okay.
Okay. Everyone enjoying the meal? So we have a few water trivia questions. If you guys want to play a little bit before we do our testimony for tonight, just raise your hand if the table itself knows the answer. What % of illness in the developing world is water related? And I'll give you a range. If anybody wants to give a range, that works too. Anybody want to give a shot at this? We got an answer? 60. Anybody think lower or higher? 95. It is actually 80. 80%. So a few people are right. Yeah. Pat on the back if you're right. Okay, another one. Who consumes more water per pound? This one's really interesting. Who consumes more water per pound? A baby in the first 6 months of life or an average American adult? Yeah, a baby. I feel like that's a shout out to our breastfeeding mamas in the room. Everyone, yes. A baby. Wow. Seven times per pound. 7 times per pound more. Wow. Okay, last one, and then we're going to do our testimony for tonight. If all of the world's water were put into a 4-liter jug, how much would be fresh water? So what's percentage of water in the world? 70. If all of that was put into a jug, what? 1 millimeter? 2? 1 liter. So fresh water, it would actually be a tablespoon. 1 tablespoon would be fresh water. That's a lot of ocean. Okay, I would like to introduce our testimonial witness tonight, Matt Lampe. Dr. Lampe was raised in Oklahoma and graduated from Oklahoma University, and then graduated with his doctor of veterinary medicine from Oklahoma State University. He has been a practicing veterinarian for over 20 years and has served on numerous boards to serve communities in which he lives and works. He currently lives in Texas, I would say closer to Tyler now from our conversation, with his wife and his children in college and off forming their own families. He also currently serves as Vera Aqua Vera Vitae's board of directors, and together with his wife, they are dedicated supporters of this mission to give the gift of true water, true life to the communities in need. Please, everyone, give it up for Matt Lampe.
That actually is probably my phone going off. Oh, it's better. It's not my phone. It just happens to be somebody at my table. That's even better. So Jacob asked me to give this talk, and I said, maybe. If anybody's ever thought about standing in front of a group of people, some of whom they know, some of whom they don't, and talk about what they believe in, if you're going to do it honestly, you better pause, because there's no way that you want to talk about things that are important to you in front of a group of people. Things that are important to you bring you back to why they're important. And when I start talking about things that are important, this mission is super important. So when I talk about faith, I'm going to talk about something that we did several years ago when we made a mission trip. Joe and Vicky, we appreciate you guys bringing that together. And they got us to Peru. And there is a mission in Peru that is led by Father Joe. Father Joe will eventually be Saint Joe. Saint Joe runs every social program in Pura. He feeds them. He provides shelter. He provides counsel. He provides everything that we think of as government provided. And how sad is that? We here in the most developed country in the world rely on our government instead of ourselves to provide the things that we, our families, our extended families need. So I'm bringing you there because what I'm going to talk about from a faith standpoint revolves around what happened at that mission. So this is also the place where I learned of Jacob, just so everybody knows. There happened to be this guy who had this plan for water. And Vicky and Joe was like, hey guys, you need to meet him. He's the water guy. He's going to bring water to all these people. And I was like, all right, well, great. That's great. Whatever. I'm here to do a mission. I'll think about dealing with that in a minute. So there's another program there called Family to Family. And this is once again organized by St. Joe. And St. Joe's really smart because St. Joe doesn't organize this in a environment in Peru that is controlled by politicians that might be bought off, that might be corrupt, that might not find the need of their people first and foremost. He actually organizes it through a place that's distant to it in Edmond, Oklahoma, and then has it sent back to Peru. So we're out delivering food to these families. And one of them happens to be a family that is supported by the priest, happens to be my parents' priest. And so we take them food, and these people are joyful and want to take pictures with us and are just absolutely thankful for the fact that somebody cares about them. There's somebody in a developed country that they've never met, that they've never seen, that they have no idea what their life looks like, that provides sustenance. Okay. And when you think about that, that's amazing. And what I want you guys to realize is that it's for an amount of money that any of you can do. Now, I'm not trying to get into your budgets, but I'm just telling you that the amount of money that they're talking about to supply food to a family is probably less than y'all's phone bills. Y'all get that? Less than your phone bill. So here's what I'm talking about. We deliver food to these people. They're super happy. They're just joyful. They've got a young child. We give them food. It all goes super well. Outside of this house, my wife's going to cry when I talk about this. Anybody wants to watch? There's a dog. And what you guys heard when I came up here is I'm a veterinarian. And stopping suffering in animals is the thing that I've probably dedicated more of my life to than any other single event that I've done besides trying to remain faithful to God. This dog needed to be put to sleep. I have no medicine. I have no means. And I have no way. My wife looks at me and says, you have to do something. Now, any husband in here has ever had their wife look at them and tell them that you have to do something, knows what that does to you, because there's nothing I can do about it. There is absolutely zero that I have control over. I can't stop his suffering and I can't put him out of his pain because I have none of the things that we have access to in our country or things that I have access to in my daily life. And so we leave there and we go to the next family, and the next family, I say family because this is going to get really disturbing, is a man in his backyard drinking alcohol. And he could care less that there's somebody 2,000 miles away providing him with food, with something to eat, and making his family's life better. He just doesn't care. He's not connected in any way, shape, or form to the fact that somebody wants his life to be better. You know why? Because he doesn't see the fact that his life can be better. His life is out of control, and it's out of control because there's no hope. We leave, we delivered the food, we've done our job, and we get back to the mission. At the mission, my wife jumps out of the van and says, I'll see you. I got to go. I'm like, all right, see you in a minute. And she takes off, and there happens to be Eucharistic adoration. So she walks into the chapel. Now, for those that have been on this mission, you understand what the mission looks like. There's a place for housing, and then there is also the chapel in the church where we have mass on a daily basis. And one of the interesting things is that the people in Peru on a Tuesday will have more people in church than we do on Sunday. On Tuesday, they have more people that find their faith so valuable that they show up. So Amy leaves, she goes to the church, and she prays. And the question is God, for what reason am I here? You've brought me to this place where these people are poorer than any place else in the world. They need more than anybody in the world. And I can't handle it, right? I live in a house that by all standards is nice, but everybody in this event tonight lives in a home that is nicer than anybody's home in the village. We're talking about homes that are built with 8 poles and bamboo mats. That's what protects them from the environment. And so Amy asked God, why are we here? And as Amy relays this story, thankfully Amy wrote this down because I thought it was one of the most touching things that anybody's ever written. And when we talk about faith, having faith is the only way that you get here. God told her this: I brought you here so that you could see how hot the fire gets for these people. Silver, as the story goes, is refined in fire. We've all heard the story of silver being refined in fire, right? And what happens when we refine silver in fire? We burn out the impurities. What happens if you leave the silver in the fire a minute too long? When you leave the silver in the fire too long, it gets too hot and the silver is permanently ruined. It's actually destroyed. So what he told her was, I brought you here, one, for you to see the fire, to put you in the fire and to help purify you. But I also want you to know that I'm keeping these people from being too hot in this fire because of you. Think about that. You're here tonight to keep these people's fire from being too hot. You can do something about it. Faith has to do with keeping these people's fire from being too hot. Okay. How does he know when the silver is refined? How does the silversmith figure out when the silver is refined? He can see himself in the reflection. That's what God was telling her that day. I am going to keep you in this fire until I can see myself in the reflection of you. You have now been put in the fire, and I want this reflection to come back. I have to look like you. So you want to know where I find faith? I find faith from these people, because these people are actually in the fire every day. Do something to keep this fire from being so hot that they are destroyed forever. Water changes their life. So I'm going to get back to Jacob. So Vicky says, hey, there's this guy who's building this water thing here, right? So we come back, we find Jacob. Why do we find Jacob? We find Jacob because the family that we adopted needs water. So guess what? Our family has water. Why does our family have water? Our family actually has water because of Jacob. It has water because of what this group does. This is a major amount of money for the organization, guys. I'm just here to talk to you about faith, but faith is putting your faith into action. I'm not telling you that you can do things that by works that are going to get you into heaven, because that's not my goal. My thing is that faith without works is empty. Faith without works is empty. You can't do anything without having action. Okay, guys? I need you to put your faith in action tonight. I'm not telling you to spend money that you don't have. I'm not asking you to invest in this program with things that you can't do. But I am asking you, point blank, to think about what we're talking about. Look at that. Look at the screen. I didn't even know the screen was going to be here, but I want you to look at the screen. That family, water matters to. Water matters to them. Everybody brushed their teeth today, right? I hope. You need clean water just to brush your teeth. Jacob does a thing every once in a while where he goes and is it a liter of water, Jacob? It's a gallon. It's a gallon of water in a day. If you guys just want to know what faith looks like, use 1 gallon of water for your entire day and rely on God for the rest of your day. Because that's not how we live, thankfully. But that is what they live with. That's a reality in their world. I appreciate you guys. Just remember, don't let it get too hot for them.
Thank you, Brett. Appreciate it. Thank you, Brett. Thank you for that testimony. Beautiful, beautiful story. And any other Vera Aqua, Vera Vitae volunteers in the room, could you please raise your hand? I think it was beautiful what Brett was talking about, an actual mission going over there. Who has been to Peru and has gone, some guys in the back, or is helping actively with? Well, thank you all again very much for what y'all are doing, the sacrifice of your time and your energy to go down there and to help these people physically. It's 100% essentially what we need. And that was beautiful to hear Brett's testimony of that. Thank you, Brett. Okay, a few other trivia questions, and then we'll move on. How's that? Matt, my apologies. I don't know where Brett came from. Matt, thank you. Okay, few other trivia questions. How many gallons of water are required to grow food for 1 day for a family of 4? Gallons of water. Range? Any range? 10 gallons? A little bit more. I guess is this for a year? I don't know if this is for 1 day, a family of 4 for 1 day, a lot more than 10. More, north. 6,800 gallons. That is a lot of water. We can fact check these later, but it's high, okay? It's high. How many gallons of water does it take to create 1 pint of beer? Ooh, where are the distillery guys here? Any Brewsters? 20? 20, you nailed it. 20 gallons. Way to go, give them a prize. Okay, great. We're gonna move on here. Okay, oh, I'm excited for this. All right, next up. Hold on, let me get everything I need. Next up, we have. Actually, before we do that, do we have an update on our fundraising status, on our fundraising goal? Not yet. Okay, we will get that in the next break because I'm curious to see how we're doing. Golden tickets, there are still golden tickets available. I believe we only have 100, and they are 100 apiece, and that is your chance to win a trip to Cabo or Tuscany or Vegas. You take your pick. Okay, our next speaker event. Man, tonight's awesome. We got testimonies, we got magic, we got speed, painting. Okay, now it's up for the magic. Magician Giancarlo Bernini is an international performer who has performed for multiple televisions and radio appearances under his belt. He has read minds over Sirius XM, even made a deck of cards disappear at the Microsoft Theater in Los Angeles. My goodness. At Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana, he broke the laws of physics while surrounded by 25,000 people. In the words of Giancarlo, unlike most entertainment, I use my illusions not to offer an escape from reality, but to transform your perspective of the everyday into something magical. Please help me welcome Giancarlo. Oh, you're good.
Oh, there we go. How's everybody doing? Good? Sweet. All right. Well, I figure many of you might not have seen a magic show in a while. Maybe this is your first time watching a magic show. So I figured we'd do a little bit of a warm up. This is it's not exactly a magic trick. It's just something to get your brain used to the idea of watching magic tricks. So basically, I've got a piece of rope. It's got 2 ends and it's got a middle. The ends are on the ends and the middle's in the middle. Normally, I don't have to say that. It's a magic show. It's going to get a little weird. Check this out. You can take these ends just like this. You tie them into a knot. You get a circle. You take imaginary scissors. You can actually just cut the rope right there, which, sorry, that got weird really quick. So you got 2 pieces of rope. Now you've got a long piece of rope and a short piece. Here, let me untie them so that you can see what we're dealing with. 2 pieces of rope. Actually, take these ends just like this. You can actually get them to stretch just a little bit. So they're both about the exact same size. I get it. Sorry, no, it's a little bit confusing. Here, let's just start over. It's a piece of rope. It's got 2 ends and it's got a middle. I'll backtrack a little fast. I'll take this end right here. That's the end on my right and put it on my left hand. So the left end and the right end are on my left. It's your right. I'm going to take the middle in my right hand. That's your left. The 2 middles of the middle are in the middle. That's your middle and it's also my middle. We following? All right, good. I take those magic scissors. We're going to cut the rope one more time. That's 2 pieces of rope now. You've seen me do that already. Watch it. Take these ends just like this. You tie them into a knot and you get, well, get something that acts like a piece of rope. The longer you look at it, though, the more confusing it gets because now you realize you have 1 end on each end, 2 ends in the middle, and 2 middles about a quarter of the way from each end. Sorry, it's a little confusing. So we're going to try to keep it simple here. If you blow on the knot, you get the ends to come off the knot. You get the knot to come off the rope. It's just a piece of rope with 2 ends and a mid. Thank you. Appreciate that. Let's try this here. I'll take these ends because the confusing thing really is the fact that there's 3 things to watch. You got to watch these ends and you got to watch the middle. That's 3 things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of 2 of the things. Get rid of 2 of the get rid of the ends. Now, 2 ends are a rope with no ends. You just got to watch the middle of the rope. It's just the middle. It's just... You see the ends the whole time, right? So it's not super helpful. I'll put the ends in my pocket. So you know where they are. The ends are in my pocket. They're going to stay in my pocket. But because they're in my pocket, you don't have to keep track of them. You know where they are. But because they're in my pocket, you don't look at them so they don't distract you. You're going to snap that. You look at my pocket. That's the middle in my pocket. There's 2 ends up in my hand. Piece of rope with 2 ends and a middle. You guys feeling warmed up? Yeah? Sweet. Oh, you can take a look at this, by the way. You know, pulling that. That's a normal rope, right? There's no clasp, no magnets, no trapdoors, elephants, smoke chambers, nothing. No, yeah, it's kind of weird. Let's try this. This is going to be a little bit interactive. So I'm going to come around. I'm going to ask y'all to help me with a couple things. Don't be scared. Oh, we have an envelope here. This is going to go inside and we're going to use this just a little bit later. Okay. So I'm going to come around here and I'm going to ask a couple people to stand up if you don't mind. Let's go all the way over here. Hi. What's your name? Fernanda, would you be willing to stand for a second? And I'll just say right there. Oh, actually, would you take a look at that magazine? Make sure it's just a normal magazine. Make sure there's nothing weird about it. There's nothing cut out or highlighted or anything weird like that. And then would you stand as well? Is that okay? Hi. And then would you stand as well? 1, 2, 3. Fantastic. Would you stand? Is that okay? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 people. And then we're gonna go over here, and everybody just stops making eye contact with me, which is great. Fantastic. Oh, would you help me? Is that okay? Oh, sorry. Yeah. Is that okay? Hi. Would you take a look at this magazine? Make sure it is just a normal magazine. There's nothing cut out, nothing weird about it. And would you stand? Is that okay? And we'll come over here. Hi. Would you stand? Is that okay? And would you stand? Is that okay? Thank you. Okay. So we have about 8 of y'all standing. So here's the deal. The 8 of you who are standing, here are your instructions. In a moment, the magazine is going to come to you. When you get the magazine, what I'd like you to do is pick a word in the magazine that's a long, interesting word. So open it up. If you'll notice, there's some pages that have a lot of pictures. Don't pick one of those. Pick a page that has an article. So pick a page that has like an article, and then pick a long word, maybe 7, 8, or 9 letters long. Something that would be hard for me to guess, if that makes sense. So once you have your word, go ahead and pass the magazine to somebody else who is standing. So once you have a word that's nice and long, go and pass the magazine to somebody else. Again, just open it up to a page that has a nice long article, find a word that's 7, 8, 9 letters long, and pass it along to one of the other people who is standing. I'll give you all just a couple of minutes to do this. Now, basically, the reason we're doing this is I want to get a sense of the room. I've tried to pick someone from each table. That way we've got an idea of kind of where people in the room, how people in the room are thinking tonight. If you've ever watched the movie Ghostbusters, you've seen the moment where they're kind of sitting in a room and one person is holding up cards with symbols on them and the other person's trying to guess what they are. We're going to try this, but instead of 1 out of 5, which there are 5 symbols on those cards, we're actually going to try with, however many thousand words are in these magazines. So once you're done, and I think they've got some on this side. So are you good? Fantastic. And where's our, there it is. Awesome. Fantastic. Did everybody get a chance to see a word? Yes? Okay. Everybody's going? Yes? Okay. Think about your words. Now, the reason I have so many of you too is because this isn't an exact science. So I'm going to go for as much as I can here, and hopefully some will be spot on. But I'm going to say there's a word over here that starts with an H. There's also a word over here that starts with a T. I'm going to say there's an E and an A together. There's also a Y at the end of a word over here. We've got a C and an O. Could the 8 of you close your eyes for a moment? Just focus on your words. Don't react. If I say something that freaks you out a little bit, don't show it on your face. Just stay, keep a poker face. I'm going to say there's an L and a Y. Okay, here's the words I'm going to say. Just listen closely. Heartbreakingly, grandchildren, uncomfortably, economists, thoughtlessly, independence, possibilities, sportsmanship. Open your eyes. If I said your word, sit down. All right, that's pretty good. Thank you. So now that you don't trust me, For my next trick, I need your wallets. No, I'm serious. I need your wallets. In fact, what I need is someone's driver's license. So if you have your driver's license, would you hold it up? I'm going to take the first driver's license that I see. I need somebody with a driver's license. Anybody willing to hold up your driver's license first? I see you, yeah, right over here. What's your name? Holden? Holden. That is correct. Holden, would you join me up here? Let's give Holden a hand, everybody. Keep it in mind, it could have been you. Well, you can stand right here on the floor, in front of the stage. You need to come all the way up here. Holden, of all the people who are in this room, tonight, who looks trustworthy?
Yeah, my girlfriend,
Where's she at?
the one.
Oh, she was part of the thing. With yeah. Okay, so you're gonna have to do something else for us tonight. He just picked you. Yeah. There's a little purple bag. Would you hold on to that? Don't look inside it. Don't open it. Don't let anything come out of it. And more importantly, don't let anything go into it. Okay? Is that okay? All right, cool. All right, Holden. Now your driver's license tells me a few things about you. For example, it tells me you were born in December. Yeah, that's not mind reading. That's just reading. Holden, could you verify for everybody you do see that in there? Yes.
See it.
Can you, with your right hand, can you just pinch the corner right there? Make sure you can feel it. Yep. Hold it right there. And then with your left hand, can you hold your left hand about right there? Perfect. I'm gonna get away from you as far as I can, actually. Because Holden, what we're about to do is I'm about to make your driver's license disappear. So normally I don't tell you what the magic trick is going to be. It's just all about the element of surprise. But in this case, it's so impossible. You're not going to believe me even if I tell you. It's going to disappear. And I'm going to be nowhere near it. It sounds ridiculous because you literally just saw me put it in there. You can feel it right now. Yeah, it's going to be gone. We'll see. Whenever you're ready. Just, I'm going to ask you whenever you're ready to just toss it into your other hand. Make sure you're close enough to where you can catch it. Now, what's going to happen is as soon as it hits your left hand, I'm talking like the second that envelope hits your left hand, it's going to disappear. It's going to be gone. Whenever you're ready. Oh, do you feel anything in there? Look inside. Do you see anything in there? No, then your driver's license is completely gone.
I do need it.
That's the trick. I'm sorry?
I do need it. I do need it.
Oh, that's fair. Did you drive or did she drive?
She drove.
Then you don't need it back.
I don't know how bad a driver I am.
That's fair. You've been holding on to that little purple bag this whole time though, right? Were you holding it when we took the driver's license and we put it inside the envelope? Yeah. I mean, you've been holding it, you were holding it, and we came up, we were putting it in there, and then I'm like, you can see it in there, and you were holding it. And he was like, I can feel that driver's license in the envelope, and you were holding it. And then I said, you're gonna toss it into your other hand, it's gonna disappear, and you were holding it. And this whole time, when it disappeared, you were holding it. And nothing's come into it, and nothing's come out of it. How does the bag feel? Cold. Well, would you go over and take the bag? And as you do so, yeah, go ahead. Just verify for us. She is correct that the bag does feel cold. Yeah, would you bring the bag up here for a second? Now you'll notice that there's a little Ziploc bag sticking out of the top of that little purple bag. Would you grab the little top of that Ziploc bag and pull it out? Tell everybody, what do you see? Looks like ice. Looks like ice with a driver's license in it. This is like literally frozen inside of a block of ice is a driver's license. You can touch that. Is that real ice? And you can see that's like sealed all the way around. That's like actually like that's real. It's like literally melting in my hands as we speak. Here we are. You can see, you can feel it. This is real ice. Yes, you can touch that. That's real. That's actually in there. And here's the thing: you see a driver's license in there. Now that could be anybody's driver's license. Would you hold the little Ziploc bag up again? I'm just gonna drop this back in there. I'm just saying. Now we could wait for that to melt, or we are. Let me just zip this up a little bit. Try to do our best. Would you reach in that? We pull that out. Holden, is that your driver's license? Let's give Holden a hand, everybody. You're fantastic. Thank you. Ooh. Well, I figure at this point, it's only fair for me to try to show you all how magic tricks work. Would you all like to learn the secret to a magic trick? Yeah? No, maybe? Who doesn't want to learn the secret to? Honestly, it's just the two of y'all in the back. And that's fair, because y'all kind of organize this thing. Y'all busy right now? Do y'all have a sec? Y'all have a sec? Do you have a sec? Yeah, come on up here. Let's give these guys a hand. I mean, they've literally been organizing this whole thing. Here's the deal. Because of the setup of the room right now. Yeah. Because of the setup of the room right now, if you're in a place behind these pillars where you can't see what's going to happen, feel free to move your chair, stand up, move around, because you're going to want to see this. I want to make sure you guys all have a good view here. If you can't see either of these two gentlemen, make sure you position your chairs, move up. Yeah, there you go. These guys right up here. Position yourselves in a spot where you can see what's about to happen. Because I'm about to teach you all how to do a magic trick using their help. In fact, you're going to want to. You have your iPhone? Yeah, get your camera out. Start filming. All right, here we go. First things first, we got a piece of rope. You examine this rope. Make sure there's no nothing weird about it. There's no trapdoors or no magnets. There's no clasp, nothing. Just like the other one. This one does have some piece of blue tape to keep the ends from fraying. It's a little longer than the one we were using earlier. Just make sure it is still a normal rope. And we also have a mug. Would you take a look at this mug? Make sure it is just a normal mug. You can pull on it. You can make sure that there's nothing magnetic. There you go. Nothing sticky. Nothing slides around. Everything fair? Sure. All right, cool. Would you hold on to one end of the rope for me? I'm gonna take the other one. Would you hold on to that end of the rope? Now watch. My goal is to take this mug and I'm gonna hang it on the rope. It's gonna hang by the handle without either of you letting go of the ends. Does that seem possible?
We'll see. Probably not.
Probably not. It's actually a lot easier than it sounds. All you do is pinch it right there. You pull it through the handle. You make an opening in the loop. You pull the mug through, tie the knot, and there you go. It's a mug hanging on the rope by the handle. Well, it is possible. But keep in mind that that's how magic tricks start. You start with something that seems impossible, but actually has a solution. That's how magicians design magic tricks. Granted, the trick here wasn't in how to tie that knot. That's easy. The trick is in figuring out how to word something. So you all thought you knew what I meant, but I actually meant something entirely different. Does that make sense? All right. But the reason this is a puzzle and not a magic trick is because we have not layered in illusion, which is what we're about to do. So one more look at the rope, one more look at the mug, and I'm going to grab these blindfolds. These are for you, gentlemen. Okay. We are going to leave the two of you in the dark for a moment. The reason for it is I want them to see how this works and understand how magicians create magic. So go ahead and put these blindfolds on for just a second. He's like, I don't trust you. The hat. Yeah, we can hold the hat for a second. Yeah. Oh, okay. Here, I'll put the hat behind you for a second.
No, I need the hat.
You need the hat. All right. You good? Nice. All right. Go ahead and hold on to the mug for me with your right hand. There you go. And we're good. I'm gonna create a bit of an illusion here. Hold your left hand out for me, Jacob. Hold on to that end of the rope. Hold on to that end of the rope. Now lift your blindfold up for just a quick second. Make sure you can see exactly what the situation is here. You've got one end of the rope. He's got one end of the rope. You've got the mug. Yes? All right. Cool. Blindfolds down real quick. Here we go. No peeking. I'm gonna take the mug. Now, if you don't let go of your end of the rope, Jacob, he doesn't let go of his end of the rope. Is there any way that mug could end up on that rope? Actually hanging by the handle? Unlikely. Unlikely. On the count of three, lift up your blindfolds. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Take a look.
What the actual heck?
There's a mug on the rope. You can let go. You can let go. Look at that. That's actually on there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
on there.
that was a joke that went over his head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. On to that. On to that. We're gonna do this again.
Blindfold again.
Yeah. Make sure you've got the same as the same rope. Yeah, it's your choice, bro. I told you. Yeah, you're already committed to the bit. It's fine. So here's the deal. We'll do this again. All right. This time, Jacob, hold your right hand out. One more time. Hold on to the mug. Hold it over the rope, just like that. Don't move. Fantastic. Now, if you don't let go of your end of the rope and he doesn't let go of his end of the rope, is there any way possible, Jacob, that mug could end up on that rope?
I don't think so.
No. I mean, you can feel it. You can feel the rope under the mug, yes?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
disconnected for
They're
sure.
disconnected for sure. In a second, I'm going to have you drop the mug. The mug is going to fall through the air. It's going to land on the rope, melt through the handle like magic. Are you ready?
I guess.
Ready? Like count of three. Ready? Drop. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Drop. Open up your blindfold. Take a look, dude.
What?
That's insane. Here, pull that off of there.
Pull the bug out?
Yeah. Take a look. There's nothing there. Yeah. It's insane, man. I have no idea. Here, I'm gonna grab a old bandana here. You guys can take the blindfolds all the way off. We're not gonna use those anymore.
There you go.
Thank you. Yeah.
Great, June.
Thank you. Use this little bandana instead. Hold on to the.
Oh, I didn't mean to hit you there.
That's completely intentional, actually.
I'm sorry. I was just trying to whip you on the fire.
That doesn't help.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh man. Well, I don't know where we go from here then.
Fine. I'm sorry.
Oh man. All right. Well, here, let's. I don't know if I can trust you with this rope anymore. Hold on to that end of the rope for me. Make sure you can see it going through the handle there. Yeah. All right. You see the rope going through the handle? All right. Here we go. We're gonna cover up the mug with the bandana. That way we know that it's there. Would you pull the rope taut so that it hangs right about here? All right. Here's the idea. Yeah. Hold it right there. That's good. Now the idea is that so far, I've been telling you how to get a mug on a rope. I've told you nothing about how to get a mug off a rope. And that's an entirely different thing. But hopefully you've learned enough about how magic tricks work by now that you realize, or at least appreciate, the way that illusions are built just a little bit more. Take a count of 3.
2, 3.
Mug off a rope.
Ready.
Let's give these guys one huge hand, everybody. You guys are fantastic. Thank you, dude. Appreciate that. Oh man. Well, the reason I wanted to share that with y'all is because a lot of times people ask me how to do magic, and my answer is always the same. It's look. A magic trick is an illusion that's presented theatrically for entertainment. For entertainment. Illusions are all about discerning truth. Entertainment's about doing something good for the people in front of you. Theater is about showcasing something in a beautiful way. Those 3 elements that we know as the transcendentals: truth, beauty, goodness. Presented in this combination is like a magic trick, and it creates joy and wonder. But truth, beauty, goodness create joy and wonder when together in any situation. And so I tell people, you don't have to learn how to do a magic trick in order to make people feel the way magic tricks make people feel. You just have to share truth, beauty, and goodness with them in whatever way you're able to. And tonight, we're doing that in a very unique way through this amazing organization, giving people joy and wonder. And here's the thing: is we're not going to get to see it. Right, we're not going to get to see the smile on their faces in that moment for most of us, and so it's one of those cool ways that we're called to trust and hope and know that we're doing something good for someone. We're creating that magic for someone who would not get to experience it otherwise, because we're doing it from here. We're doing it from miles away which I think is even crazier. You know, I remember the days back during the pandemic when we were doing Zoom magic shows, and we were just like, it was weird. It was like, at first I was like, I don't know if this is going to be the same, but there's actually something crazy about being able to cause an effect in another room. I remember we were doing card tricks, and then somebody else in a room miles away from me would have the magic happen in their hands. And there was something that we were, as magicians, we were talking about. We go, you know, there's something to this. Like, it's even more magical that the magic that we're doing magic from miles and miles and miles and miles away. Like, that makes it even the impact of this even stronger. And it's the same here tonight. Is we're gathering here in a room, creating an impact for people miles and miles and miles away, doing something, you know, much more special than a magic show, as we're giving them, you know, something that they need, something they need to live. So I'm grateful for all of you for coming here tonight, for your generosity and supporting this incredible organization. And I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your night as well. We've got more entertainment coming up, and it seems like we've got desserts. So I'm gonna get back to my seat and have one of those great looking desserts. But thank you all for spending your time here tonight. Thank you all for having me. Take care, everybody.
Okay, thank you, Giancarlo. My goodness, that was awesome. Give it up again for Giancarlo. Okay. All right, thank you very much. Well, we just got a great announcement. So far we have raised, of our goal of 40,000, we have raised 35,000. So we are 5,000 away from our overall goal. That is awesome, everybody. Thank you. And with dessert, I am sure we're gonna cap it. We're gonna get there. Great. Okay, next up, I want to go right into our keynote address. Dwight founded Risky Business Solutions, Strop Insights, in 2007. Prior to that, he spent 25 years in PepsiCo in a wide variety of leadership roles. Most recently, he led consumer customer insights for all of PepsiCo and was responsible for identifying consumer opportunities for growth. During his tenure, he also served as Chief Marketing Officer for 3 PepsiCo divisions under Frito-Lay International, and PepsiCo Restaurants International. After joining PepsiCo in 1982 as research principal scientist, Dwight held various positions of increasing responsibility in the company's research and development department. In 1986, he became director of marketing information and was then named vice president. Dwight next led just keeps going and going. Dwight next led product development, consists of marketing information, new products, and brand marketing. Prior to PepsiCo, he was research scientist for General Foods. He attended the University of California, Los Angeles, where he received bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degrees. He completed a postdoctoral fellowship at the University of Pennsylvania and taught at several colleges and universities. Please help me welcome everybody, Dwight Risky.
No, it's better if you have that. I can hear you that well.
So that nice one you addressed, is that better? You can hear me better now? Okay, thanks. It's going to be easier for me too to do this. So anyway, it's hard to believe, I spent almost my entire career selling potato chips, okay? Developing, selling, working in the salty snack industry. So I'm just going to start off my talk by reminding you, warning you to take everything I say with a grain of salt, okay? So I don't know if you can see me very well, if the light's good enough to see me, but I was really worried until today when I took off the huge bandage, and I have a smaller bandage on now, but I always was taught to acknowledge the obvious when you give a talk. And the obvious thing is I got this bandage on my head. And I had one of those little skin cancers, not that big of a deal. It happens all the time. They did that Mohs procedure and removed it. They removed some skin, so they did have to take a little graft off my chest, and they put it on there. And the doctor said, eventually it's going to blend in real nice. He said, the nipple may show a little bit, but other than that, I think it's going to be. I actually made that joke up in the doctor's office and told it to him, and he did not think it was the least bit funny. But anyway, I am feeling a little bit flustered up here this evening. I've been working with a really close friend of mine who's been having all sorts of sort of legal problems. He's an Egyptologist. I don't know if you've ever even heard of that before, but in academics, it's a very narrow field. This guy got his bachelor's degree in Egyptology, and he couldn't do a darn thing with it. You can imagine, you can't do anything with a degree in Egyptology. So foolishly, he went all the way and got a PhD in Egyptology, and now he's teaching undergraduates Egyptology. And so now the problem is he's being investigated for running a pyramid scheme. Thank you. Thank you very much. I told you should have taken everything with a grain of salt. At any rate, I really do know it's hard to fathom, but I did spend almost all my whole career working on developing, selling the salty snacks. It's an amazing business. When I started with Frito-Lay in 1982, our company's annual sales was $1.8 billion, which back then I thought was a pretty big company. By the time I retired, it was $14 billion. So we had an amazing run of a business that was just growing like a rocket. It was fantastic. Now I think it's over 16 billion. So admittedly, we were doing something that people didn't really need, but that the world really, really wanted, okay? And I'm going to talk a little bit about that fun adventure of my career. But the challenge that Jacob offered to me is he said, come and do our keynote talk. I'm going like, wow, that's pretty important. But, and you know, you can talk about anything you want to talk about. So I'm thinking, well, I got to talk about my career. That's how I spent my whole life. And I got to talk about your mission. How am I going to connect salty snacks and clean water? That's going to be a tough thing to do. That's what I'm going to try to do tonight. And so I titled this talk, Vera Aqua Vera Vita, but the subtitle was, Jacob and I are like water and salt. So one thing I did is I couldn't really think of any really great connections. So I turned to the Bible like all of us do. And I looked through the Bible, and actually there's a lot of references to both water and salt in the Bible. I kind of hadn't recognized that before. And I just picked out a couple, but one of my favorites was from Matthew chapter 5. I think it's a pretty good connection. Pay particular attention, Jacob, because this could be your next project. It basically says, to be salt is to show the people in one's life the unconditional love of Christ through good deeds. If that's not Jacob and his team, I don't know what is. Pretty impressive. That's what to be salt is. So that's a connection between salt and water. Then I went a little farther, and in the book of Kings, chapter 2, Elisha says, bring me a new bowl and put salt in it. So they brought it to him. Then he went out to the spring and threw the salt into it, saying, this is what the Lord says, I have healed this water. Never again will it cause death or make the land unproductive. So Jacob, all you really need to do is toss some salt in. It'll be fine. Yeah, exactly. And then on the other hand, I mean, I kind of gave up on the biblical scriptures because on the other hand, I sort of ran into the Old Testament biblical reference to Lot's wife being turned into a pillar of salt. And I thought, this is not going to be productive to be doing the Bible thing. So I stopped doing that. But at any rate, so this is not going to be easy to connect salt and water, but I'm going to do it. But I'm going to start off by talking a little about salt because, and this is going to sound very boastful, but I think you guys will like to hear about the salty snack business. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Frito-Lay and the salty snack business. First of all, at Frito-Lay, we had an amazing company. We hired amazing executives. I used to say I could rub shoulders with every one of the executives I rubbed shoulders with could run any company in America. They were just so amazingly talented.
not only the business executives, but the scientific executives were really, really incredible. Even more impressive, I think, were the frontline colleagues that we hired. We hired thousands and thousands of frontline colleagues. Mostly the jobs were sales jobs, driving the route trucks, you know, the ones that actually take the chips to the stores. We had something like 40,000 of those drivers out there. People that run the distribution centers, people that work in the manufacturing plants. These people were really recruited very, very carefully. And often in their rural locations, they were the highest earning salary in the whole city. I mean, they had great, great jobs. And so we were always proud of the fact that we could really help the community with those kinds of jobs. All those employees were able to support their families, buy houses, send their kids to college. So a lot of people say the salty snack business is bad. You should have never spent your career doing that. I understand that point, except for we did help a lot of families have really good lives. And of course, we contributed big time to the American economy. We had 45 manufacturing plants scattered all over the country. We scattered them all over the country because it's very expensive to haul potato chips. They're very light. You can't, but you can't, because they take up a lot of room, you can't put very many on a truck. So it's very expensive to ship them. So we want to get the product manufacturing as close as we can to where it's actually sold. We also had the second biggest trucking fleet, and I don't know if this is still true, behind only UPS, the second biggest trucking fleet in the United States, behind only UPS. We also had something that was an amazing competitive advantage called the DSD system, the direct store delivery system. When you see a Frito-Lay truck going down the road, the great big ones, that's just going from a manufacturing plant to a distribution center. But from that distribution center, we have smaller trucks, those panel trucks that you see sometimes. Those are the route drivers who take the product, load it into those trucks, and go their own route to 10 or 20 or 50 different retail outlets. They take the products out of their truck and merchandise them on the shelf themselves. The first time the store ever touches our product is at the cash register. We do the whole thing up until then. That's a huge competitive advantage compared to all of our other national competitors. And a good example of that would be Pringles. Okay, I'll just talk about Pringles. We tried to mimic that product one time. We called it Wavy Lays. It's still in the marketplace, but it's pretty small. But Pringles is really interesting. They said, we can't afford to have a distribution system like you have. It's just incredibly expensive. And it's the biggest item on our P&L, our profit and loss statement. Pringles said, we're going to make a product that we're going to manufacture so it fits in a certain kind of a package. And we're going to pay extra money for the package so it'll last at least 1 year in the package before it starts going stale or rancid. Okay, that's another word for it. 1 year. Our products had an average shelf life of 30 days. And how do we, so what's the difference? We spend the money on the distribution system to get it out and in the market as fast as we can, keep it very fresh. They spent their money on their packaging so they could go through a warehouse. So it's a completely different model of operation. Also, we had amazing brand clout during that time period. We had 3 brands that were over $1 billion. We had 10 brands that were over $1 billion, 10 brands that were over $100 million. And my team of scientists and my marketers also developed a brand new brand called Sun Chips. I think I mentioned this earlier to a few people, which grew to over $500 million. The idea in retail packaged goods to come up with a new brand and make it successful is almost impossible. And we were successful at doing that. So I know it sounds immodest, but it was a wonderful, wonderful achievement for us. They call me the father of Sun Chips. And it's the only thing I've ever been famous for. So my kids are so proud. Well, I would go to cocktail parties back then in those days, and people would come and say, what do you do? And I'd say, well, I just jokingly, I sell Doritos. And they say, oh yeah, Doritos, that's a great company. Going, well, actually, it's not a company. They would think it was a company all by itself. It was just one of our many brands. But we had a lot of brand clout. We could also hire pretty much any kind of talent that we wanted, like a celebrity that we wanted to hire. During my career, I hired Jay Leno, Jason Alexander, Michael J. Fox, Cindy Crawford, Elijah Wood, Chevy Chase, Larry Bird, and Kareem. And my most wonderful experience was hiring Neil Armstrong. I needed him. We were doing a little play for a sales meeting, and I needed him to come and just do a little 10-minute part. I somehow got his number through one of these speaking agencies, and I dialed the number one morning. I was a nervous wreck, sweating like crazy. I dialed the number. and it rang and it rang and the phone picked up. This is Neil. It was amazing. There he was, Neil Armstrong. It was incredible, but he came and gave a beautiful talk for us. It was incredible. It was wonderful to have that kind of clout in the marketplace. I even got to pitch Steven Spielberg and George Lucas. They had new movies coming out. Remember when George Lucas was doing his prequels? We flew out to Skywalker Ranch out in Sonoma and pitched him in his private theater to see if we could be his promotional partner. And we won the deal. So we were his promotional partner for probably 7 years after that. So it was really a wonderful, wonderful experience. As a result of all of the stuff I've just told you about, we were able to charge big premiums for our products because they were higher quality, they were fresher. So that was another huge competitive advantage for us. And we were also expanding around the world. At that point, we were in about 60 countries. And actually during that time period, I got to run marketing for those 60 countries for about 5 or 6 years. So it was really a wonderful experience. Anyway, I could go on, and over a beer I usually do, but I'll try to stop here. Suffice to say that we were really hopping on all cylinders. We were running on all cylinders. Our business was really cooking. We knew we were on top of our world. We could go to any university in the country and pretty much hire anybody out of any graduating class. We were such a hot company back then at that time. It was a wonderful experience. And not only that, we were, Frito-Lay is a part of PepsiCo and also was a part of PepsiCo. PepsiCo, remember, included Pepsi-Cola, which included Mountain Dew, Aquafina, Quaker, Tropicana. We had a joint venture with Starbucks. At the time, Pizza Hut, KFC, and Taco Bell were also a part of our business. We later spun them off into a separate company. So we had a lot of clout in the marketplace. It was a fantastic experience. We were the honcho. In fact, I used to say that Frito-Lay was the cash cow that jumped over the moon because we made so much cash for PepsiCo, they could afford to do things like buy Taco Bell and KFC and Pizza Hut. So, in fact, one more point about PepsiCo. We had so much clout in PepsiCo that no chairman of the board could be chairman of the board until they were president of Frito-Lay, until they actually ran Frito-Lay. And I actually had the honor of having 3 bosses at Frito-Lay who all became chairman of PepsiCo. And you may say, well, why didn't you get to be president of Frito-Lay? Well, it's none of your business. Shut up. So anyway, having said all that, I'm sorry if I hope you don't mind my rambling on about salty snacks, but it's sort of all I know, honestly, which is a sad thing, except for you do still learn some principles about business, which are really, really great. But having said all that, I'm a little embarrassed to compare that with the kind of thing that Jacob's trying to do, which is so far beyond imagination compared to making money from selling snack foods. They're really heroic goals, I think, and I have so much respect for Vera Aqua, Vera Vita. Jacob's mission is so much more important. They call the snack food business junk food. They call it, a bad thing to do with your life. I've heard all of that. I do think it has contributed a lot of good things, but I understand it too. And again, when I compare it to what this organization is doing, there's no comparison at all, honestly. But we look at the kind of energy and focus and expertise that it took to develop a Frito-Lay, to make Frito-Lay successful. And I see that that's what Jacob's trying to establish with this organization. Now, we heard earlier about seeing true poverty. In my travels all around the world, I got to see poverty in a few places. Most of the time, we were just going into big cities where probably was the highest per capita consumption in the country, but in a few times, we really saw some amazing, unforgettable things. I'll never forget when I visited Caracas, Venezuela. We flew in on one of our corporate jets. I mean, can you imagine this? This beautiful, fancy corporate jet. We flew in at night, landed in Caracas, took a car up to the city, and the rolling hills outside of Caracas were just beautiful. It looked like fireflies just twinkling all over the rolling hills. It actually looked romantic. I just remember thinking, that is like so beautiful. It's unbelievable. And my buddy said, just wait till tomorrow when the sun comes up. And sure enough, in the morning, I looked out the window and it wasn't so romantic. Mile after mile of decaying cardboard houses, miles of cardboard houses, rocky trails instead of streets, not even really paths, no running water or plumbing of any kind in most of those areas. Not surprisingly, cholera, typhoid, hepatitis, even malaria were rampant in those areas. 75% of the population lived in poverty with an annual income of, we could do trivia, $8. $8 annual, if you can imagine. And here I was flying in on a fancy jet, trying to figure out how to get their stores to sell salty snacks when these people in their lifetime were never even going to probably taste them. So I also saw similar scenarios in other places, the foothills of the Andes, Port-au-Prince, Haiti. I actually never visited there, but two of my children did, and they came back and said it was a life-changing situation. So I thought at the end of my career, when I retired, if I can figure out a way to do something to help address this, I'm going to try to do it. The question, of course, was how to do that in the face of what I call insidious corruption and crime, poorly educated population. That's just in the United States, by the way. And no, I'm just kidding. And being really geographically far away, which is a really serious problem because a lot of people are hesitant to contribute to organizations like this because they're geographically separate. They worry about being able to monitor it and measure its success. But when I met Jacob, he convinced me that Vera Aqua Vera Vita was at least one compelling answer to this question. So if you could develop isolated communities if you could identify small isolated communities and develop clean, self-sufficient, sustainable, easy to maintain, easy to fix systems, that's the way to go. And I've actually done a lot of reading since we had that first conversation, Jacob, and I got to say, everybody's picking up on your idea. There's other people who've also had that idea, and it's a good one. It's clearly the only thing that really works to develop this kind of, to solve this kind of a problem. Also, Jacob convinced me that simple, small community water systems like Vera Aqua, Vera Vita designs, not centralized water systems, were clearly the best approach. He convinced me that this isn't just a contribution to an excellent investment because it's focused on a particular community with results that can be seen, but because they can also be measured over time. You can go back the next year and make sure it's still operating, and it's built so that it will perform that way. So how do we get from Doritos to my standing up here or sitting up here? And how do we make the connection? Well, I know there are many, many opportunities to contribute money for the good of the world, but here's one with already a proven track record in transforming some of the poorest areas into successful and happier communities. I'm not asking you to give up on contributing to Catholic Charities or to the Red Cross. Those are really great organizations. I contribute to them too. But I would ask you just to consider Vera Aqua, the Vera Aqua Vera Vita in your contribution package. It's a proven winner. Help it grow. It'll not just be a contribution. It really will be an investment that we can measure its impact across time. And Jacob and his team have done a very good job of doing that. So finally, I guess I would just say, even if you have to cut back a little on your purchases of Cheetos, I never thought I'd say this, not Sun Chips, set that in a different category, but Cheetos or any other Frito-Lay product to fund your contribution, I recommend you do it. I suggest you do it. Here's a way of reducing your salt and helping purify the water. Thank you.
Thank you, Dwight. That was excellent, man. Father of Sun Chips, I'm telling you, it's nothing small. Our kids love Sun Chips more than all the others. Sun Chips, if we didn't have them, I tell you. Thank you very much, Dwight. That was excellent. Okay, we're going to move right along. We have one other good size event, and then we want to bring Jacob up here. We want to get some more. We want to hear a little bit more about how Vera Aqua Vera Vita is doing. And so we are excited about that. And I am going to introduce our next presenter, Speed Painter. Okay. Humble beginnings, a heart for people. Have you ever had an idea that you couldn't stop thinking about? An idea that seems impossible despite the obstacles, even the know-how, the idea will not cease. So has Tom. He remembers it like it was yesterday. Having studied photography in college, he decided at 19 to open up his own photography studio. With limited finances and no idea how to actually run a business, Verano Photography was born. His father, seeing his determination to be a success, allowed him to use 2 bedrooms in his house, one for his studio and one for his office. That first summer, 150 high school seniors came through his front door as he watched from his Barca lounger. Having his support, his encouragement, his faith, his front door as he watched, having for his encouragement and his faith in Tom, that changed his life. That summer, he learned that a dream can only begin and continue if he remained passionate to what you do. As an artist, he was given the honor for creating beautiful portraits of thousands of people through the art of photography. He realized he had been given a gift. He had the ability to make his clients see themselves as they were, beautiful. 30 years later, he still loves being a photographer. Yet, as an artist, must always challenge himself, so he had another idea. He has dedicated his life to what he believes he does best, offering hope, encouraging others, and teaching the importance of having passion to follow your dreams. His passion in life is to reach as many people as possible and to let them know that they matter. He does this now through the unique form and the medium of inspirational speed painting and speaking. Tom, welcome. Come on up. Thank you, sir.
Wow, thank you for that. So yes, my name is Tom Verano. This show is called Emotion into Art, and hopefully you will see right before your eyes a beautiful portrait of something you recognize after I'm completed. But before I get into that, I want to say this. I name this Emotion into Art. And if we look in the scriptures, do you know what the shortest scripture is? Jesus wept. Exactly. Shortest scripture in the whole Bible. Jesus wept. Emotion. He had emotion. That's why we're all here tonight. Because we're moved with emotion of what Jacob and his wife and his team are doing. They're changing lives. And that's what we're all going to do tonight. We're going to help them help others. We're a conduit, and they're the biggest part of the conduit. So we're going to support them. So I want you to just sit back. I want you to take this moment in. I want you to just totally take in the sounds that you hear and what you see on the canvas. Thank you so much for having me this evening.
We have people that are going out and doing a job to defend their communities. And you know, in the back of the mind of every one of those officers, one of them might not be going home. And I have seen it throughout my career. I have seen it here locally. The police officer didn't go home. They kissed their loved ones goodbye. And that was the last time they saw them. And sometimes I don't think we realize the impact that this job has had on their families, let alone ourselves. That's a heavy weight. That's a heavy weight badge. Gonna be a long one, another graveyard shift. As he says goodbye to his wife and kids. It's been his life, just like his dad's, driving away under the weight of the badge. Seen it all in his 15 years. Watching our backs, facing our fear. Lord knows it ain't no easy task, keeping us safe under the weight of the bad. So that Lord, protect that serve. Ladies and mighty walks,
Every time he goes, he's like, call me or text me when you leave it, because I just want to make sure he's okay, because I know there's a possibility that he may not be sometime. That's the biggest way, and I feel like a lot of times when he leaves, and I get around to kiss goodbye, I always hold on to him for an extra couple seconds. Just because.
And the truth is, he said, I do it for us. And I do it.
So something that is the pager. When the tones go off, the emergency comes in and you're going.
And at the end of the day, when we get done with our careers, we go back home to our families. Well, who are we returning back to their families? But you still have to leave and go home and take that badge home. But after you've had a long day at work, your heart is still heavy because of what you've seen. When you say the weight of the badge, the weight of the shield, I was holding a conversation the other night where I'm standby at a firehouse and talking with the chief of the department, and we're talking about seeing. On the plan. Of the bag. Sense of service, really, that way is a sense of service to the people. We're very, very hopeful. I'm an optimist. I think most of us are optimists in this job.
My career is going into K through 12 schools nationally and encouraging our students to live with passion, to follow a dream and go all in. But I tell them, and I don't need to tell you, that we live in the greatest country in the entire world right here in America, where you and I can actually have a dream and go pursue it with our whole heart. Exactly what Jacob and his team is doing. They're going all in. They're traveling and they're going all in. But when we invest in them, we don't get to see the results. Just like I tell the students that their teachers invest in them and they don't get to see the end result of how they turned out at the end of their educational journey. Teachers don't get to see it. Emotion, passion, going all in, putting your heart on the line. That's what we all have the opportunity to do every single day for organizations, exactly why we're in this room. I'm going to paint my next painting. Thank you so much.
There's a power in poverty that breaks principalities, brings the authorities down to their knees. There's a brewing frustration and ageless temptation. Fight for control by some manipulation. The God of the kingdoms and God of nations, God of creation sends this revelation to the homeless and penniless, Jesus the Son. The poor will inherit the kingdom to come. World falls apart, and all the treasures we've stored in our barns, held by the kingdom of God. Who will we praise? We praised all our lives. Men who build kingdoms and men who build fame, but heaven does not know the name. What will we be? No, that remains. God on the throne with a child in his arms, love in his eyes, and the sound of his heart cry.
A few months ago, we went out in Calcutta and we picked up 4 or 5 people from the street. And we took them to our home for the dying. One of them was in a very bad condition. So I told the sisters, I'll take care of her. And I did for her all that my love could do. And I put her in bed, took hold of my hand. And there was such a wonderful smile in her face. She said one word, thank you, and she died. She gave me much more than I gave her. She gave me her grateful love. And for 1 second, I reflected on looking at her, and I said, what would I have done if I was she? My answer was, I would have tried to draw some attention to myself. I would have said, I'm hungry, or I'm cold, or I'm dying. But she was so great. She was so beautiful in her giving. The poor are great people. They give us much more than we give to them. We must love them not by feeling pity for them. We must love them because it is Jesus in the distressing disguise of the poor.
Your hand reached into the depths of darkness. Your spoke to me that broke my heart. Your you and me beside quiet waters. We share the best door. Tears right before my eyes. Lord, I see I will fear. I will fear.
For he said, I was hungry and you gave me to eat. I was hungry not only for bread, but for that understanding love, to be wanted, to be known, to be somebody to somebody. Naked, not only for a piece of cloth, but naked for that human dignity, for that respect. Homelessness, not only for a whole made of bricks, but homelessness that comes from a terrible loneliness, that are shut-ins, the unwanted, the unloved, go alone on their way. Are we there? Are we not? So we people.
Thank you so much. She taught us so much, didn't she? I mean, that's why I love our faith. I love our faith as Catholics. You know why? Because we have people that we can look up to. We have people that we can model our lives after. That's amazing. That walked this earth with us. And she did. In our lifetime, we saw her canonized. Our lifetime. How beautiful is that? It's beautiful. There's no other words. She proved that we can do it too. And that's exactly what this man's doing. He's doing the work. And it's our responsibility to support that work. It is. There's no other way around it. Jesus said, go. Go. He'll provide a way. We're that way. We're that way. We're the instrument to help them get this mission completed. So we're going to raise some money tonight. And I want you to be involved. I would be honored for you to be involved in my artwork to help this organization. So we're going to start with this first piece here. We're going to bring this out. Very first piece is a signature style of this piece that you see here for your home, Mother Teresa. And we're going to start this piece at $500. $500 for this canvas. So who in here can support this ministry for $500? Who in here can do that? Right here. Thank you so much for getting involved. Thank you. $500. Let's raise the bar. Let's go to $750. Anybody at $750? $750. $500 right here. That's yours. Mother Teresa, let's pull out the next one. Holy Family. We're going to start this at $500. Holy Family, to have religious art in your home that you can look at and know as a conversation piece, a piece was created in front of you, and now it's hanging on your wall for this ministry. $500 for this first piece right here. This actual piece is sold, but I'm going to go back to my studio and make somebody another piece that's going to purchase it tonight. Somebody had already bought this. So the very first one, $500. Who would like to take this home and put it in your home? $500. Thank you so much. Let's raise the bar. We're here to raise some money. Okay, let's raise this to $1,000. $1,000. We have one at $500. Let's go to $1,000. $1,000 sold at $500 right here. Thank you so much for being involved. Our next piece. Pope John Paul. Right here. $500. Starting these at $500. Let me say this. I did a charity event in Montana. This piece, very first bid, $25,000. We raised $475,000 that evening. There was 200 people in the room. Closed doors, locked doors. $25,000. We're talking about religious art to strengthen our faith. As we see it, it strengthens our faith. You can not only just put it on your wall, you can donate it to a church, an organization, or back to this ministry. $500 right here. Anybody in the room? $500? Okay, let's bring out the next one. Christ, our prototype, our Savior. Starting at $500 right here. He showed us the way. $500. Thank you very much. $1,000. In fact, let's do this. Let me have 4 people in the room that'll pay $1,000 for this piece of art. I'll go back and create 3 more. We have one already. 4 people in the room that'll do $1,000. Let's raise $4,000 right now. $4,000. We have one right here. I need 3 more. 3 more. This is uncomfortable. I'm an artist. I'm not a salesman. I'm an artist. This is very uncomfortable for me. But 3 more people. 2 more. 2 more. Right now we have one at 500, one at 1,000. We're going to bring those 2 together, divide the math. Okay, that's what they're going to get this for. 1 more. 750 right here. Okay, thank you very much for being involved. Let's bring out the next one. Jacob, can you please come up here? I know you don't want to. But in your own words, this is your patron saint for your organization. Can you please, in your own words, tell us what this man has meant to you and your organization?
I'm gonna be honest. Wasn't expecting to be called up here. I'm being flat out honest. Oh, I'm about to cry. I'm sorry. I wasn't expecting this. This man, blessed Pier Giorgio Frassati. Can we show it to this side of the room? This man, he died at the age of 24 years old. I probably know more about this man outside of Jesus than any other man, and myself maybe. I still have a lot to learn about myself. But I probably know more about this man than any other man outside of those two people. I've read his biography. I've read his autobiography. I've read multiple books about him. Blessed Pier Giorgio Frassati died at the age of 24 years old. In Italy, Turin, Italy. In fact, my wife and I, for our second honeymoon, she's over here nodding her head. I love you, Fernanda. We got to visit the shrine to Blessed Pier Giorgio. This man is the patron saint, not only of Veracruz Vita, I'll get to that in a minute, but of a Catholic men's household that I was able to start with a few guys. It's in Richardson. It's literally about 5 minutes north of here. And I'm being honest, if it weren't for that household, I don't know if I'd be standing here right now. Those guys, that community, that brotherhood, which is still continuing today, the household and the men's group that spiraled out of that, which has been going strong for, 2015? We're talking 8 years. We've had a men's group for 6.5 years. We were meeting once a week on Monday nights because of this guy's inspiration. This is a man after God. This was and is, because he's in heaven. He's a blessed. Gosh, he should be a saint. He probably is right now. Man after God's own heart. Blessed Pier Giorgio Frassati. He had a heart for the poor. And that's why Veracruz Vita adopted him as our patron. He literally contracted polio while he was serving the poor in Italy, in Turin, Italy. He was serving them and he caught polio. And within a week, he had passed away. I remember kneeling at his bed when we were in Turin. And I was right there and I was like, sitting there and kneeling there. I was like, you, Blessed Pier Giorgio Frassati, having inspired me. What you were doing. We get the witness of you. Look at this painting. Look at this. What is he doing right here? He's rock climbing. He loved the outdoors. He would climb, he would hike, he would camp. I resonate with this guy so much because he had a heart for the poor, but he was also an adventurer. He was out there living it. And when he passed away, I'm going to close with this. When he passed away at the age of 24 by contracting polio, his father, his mother, his sister were essentially non-believers. They didn't believe in Jesus Christ. They didn't believe in what God wanted to do in this world, but Blessed Pier did. And in fact, when he was beatified by Pope St. John Paul II, and that's why we had his piece up here, because there's this connection. But when he was beatified by Pope St. John Paul II, he was titled the Man of the Beatitudes. I don't know about you, but if you know the Beatitudes at all, that is a profound title. This guy was given that title by who is what? A saint of the church right now, Saint Pope John Paul II, and probably will be considered at one point and sometime in the very near future if I would put my money on a doctor of the church. If he thought this man right here was this type of man, a man of the Beatitudes, then that's a man I want to live my life after. My life's a little bit different, but I want to model it after him. He's climbing this mountain. He has this phrase in Italian. It says verso l'alto, means to the heights. It wasn't just a physical phrase, like I'm climbing to the heights of this mountaintop or this rock climb. It was, I'm going to the heights of all that matters, which is Christ and eternity itself. Blessed Pier Giorgio Frassati is our patron. Please, in his honor and his memory, consider supporting what we're trying to do in Peru. He had a heart for the poor. He wants that same heart for you. I can promise you, this guy would literally give everything that he had to the poor. He was coming from a rich family. They gave him money. They gave him everything that he could need. He would go and literally give it all away. His parents would give him money to buy a bus ticket. He would go and give it to the poor and would walk or ride a train or super cheap, or maybe he would ride his bike. But this man right here is the epitome of generosity. Blessed Pier Giorgio Frassati. Please support.
You know, I talked with Jacob a few times before this event, and one of them was a Zoom meeting. And when we talked about this man lit up. He just lit up, and you could tell how emotional Jacob is about this man. So here's what I want to do, and I've never done this before at an auction. But tonight, I feel compelled to do this. I want as many people that'll get involved with this, not for yourselves, but we're going to hang this and St. John Paul portrait, both of those. We're going to unite with a $200 donation, and both of these are going to hang above this man's desk, so he can look at it and be inspired to continue to do the work that he's doing. So how many $200 donations can I get out of the room to be a part of this? That you know you're being a partner in this to inspire this man. We have one right here. We have another one in the back. Thank you very much. We have one right here. That's 3. Anybody? We have 4, 5. You know who you are. 6. We're going to take a list in the back of the room. You know who you are. Just put your name on the list and say, I'm in. I'm in. I'm going to donate $200 towards this to keep inspiring this man to do this. It's that simple, and we're all a part of it. Thank you very much. The last piece that's going to be available is this piece here. And I painted this piece to honor our first responders, because it's because of their courageous efforts that they get up every day and do their job that we're able to be here and do our job. If an emergency broke out in this room right now, we'd be running for the exits. But we have first responders, they're at their desks right now waiting to run towards the emergency for us. For us, that's why at every K through 12 school that I travel nationally, I paint this portrait to that music. Because our kids cannot forget that freedom comes at a cost. And it always will, and it always has been. It comes at a cost, from our veterans to our soldiers to our first responders. This piece will be available in the back. If you'd like it, pick a donation and let's sell this for this organization. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom. That was awesome. Man, speed painting. Love that. Love Mother Teresa, especially. I know, gosh, Mother Teresa would be so happy and inspired and blessed with what with what Jacob and his team at Verabach and Verabita are doing. Okay, we have some news.
And that's watching the live stream want to buy the Christ painting for 1,000. So we have one.
Oh, awesome. Okay, awesome. That's great. So the Christ painting was paid for 1,000. Very good with the live stream. Hello to the live streamers. All right, we are going to wrap up tonight's event with Jacob. This one isn't a curveball. You were prepped for this one, okay? So Jacob, come on back in. The man who needs no introduction, Jacob Niemeyer, everybody, please.
Thank you, Ryan. Nothing's perfect, right? Hopefully tonight, the imperfections have been muted. But I want you to be totally aware that tonight, things didn't go perfectly. Things never do. We're working right now in Peru, trying to bring access to clean water to a community of 1,000 people. I'm going to be transparent. It's not been going perfectly. The government's been stepping on our toes. The permitting agencies have been delaying us. The organizations that should have our back haven't been having our back. This is a community of 1,000 people that has never had access to clean water, ever in the history of their community. And probably would be a long time before they did have access to clean water if it weren't for us. This community is called Las Mercedes Kilometer 11. Kilometer 11 might sound like a weird name in a community's name. It's literally more of a denotion. We're denoting this community because there is another community actually called Las Mercedes that is also on our current short list of communities to serve. And I want to tell you though, however, despite the complexities, despite the delays that we've had with this community, because we have been persisting, this community will get access to clean water very soon. In fact, I have some very exciting news. My Peru Projects and Programs Director, who's somewhere in here, Ricardo Arbulo Guerrera, has informed me 2 days ago. Actually, he's right here. I see him in the gray suit. He informed me 2 days ago that finally the Water Authority has given approval for us to give access to clean water to this community. Everything else will fall in line after that. And I know we put in a lot of time and effort, and the generosity of so many have been put to use to make this possible. But I want you to know that if we weren't doing this, no one would. This community wouldn't get clean water. Look, the other day, I was holding my daughter. So I'm a father of 2, under 3. My wife, Fernanda, back here sitting at the AV table is probably a saint already just because of putting up with me. She's an amazing woman. And my children are incredible. And I'm so blessed to be a father. I was holding my daughter, Maria, my youngest. She's 18 months old. I was holding her the other day. And she caressed and just pushed her head down into my chest. And my father heart just melted. And I just took a moment and I felt like I was in the presence of the Lord. Like he was holding me, but I was holding her, And I thought to myself, how blessed am I to have my daughter in my arms, to be a father and not to have to worry about her health. And frankly, I don't know how many of you are parents in this room or fathers in this room, but I cannot imagine losing my daughter. Not break me to a waterborne illness. Every 90 seconds, a child under the age of 5 years old is dying from a waterborne illness somewhere in the world. If that were my daughter, I would lose it. But praise be to God, it's not. But you know what? Also, praise be to God that we have an opportunity to make that statistic disappear. We can change that. And Veracruz Vera Vida has a proven method, a proven model that is sustainable. We've literally just completed a 3+ year post-project impact assessment in the first community we ever served. Many of the pictures that you were seeing on the screen tonight during our slideshow were from this community called Monte Castillo. It's this first community we ever served. Matt mentioned it in his talk. He saw this need. He saw the impact when he visited this community. Monte Castillo, a community of 7,000 plus people. Pre-project, our work in this community 3.5 years ago now. This community had 84% of the community was suffering from a chronic waterborne illness. And I know for a fact, and I'm not trying to be stark here, but it's the reality. I know for a fact that many of these families had lost children because they got sick because of waterborne illnesses. The elderly were dying at a young age. In fact, a mid-40s-year-old man got a waterborne illness, a tapeworm, in his belly and burrowed in and got up into his bloodstream, into his brain, paralyzed him. He lost all motor skills, was unable to speak. Within a couple years, he was in a wheelchair. His name was Manuel, a 40-year-old man. This community, pre-project, 84% of the community suffering from chronic waterborne illnesses. Post-project, 3.5 years later, 13% now are only suffering from chronic waterborne illnesses. We're talking a 71% decrease. 5,000 plus people no longer suffer from chronic waterborne illnesses. No longer are having to deal with a child dying before they should ever die. Look, all parents in the room, I cannot imagine losing my child. Can you? Let alone when they're 2 or 3 years old? Come on. That's the need. We have a need right now. $72,000 is our need. We are going to raise, I think we're going to probably raise over $40,000 tonight. Praise be to God. Give yourselves a big round of applause. Let's pat ourselves on the back. Yeah, sure. Amen. But let's not stop there. We have a need for a recurring support of an additional $72,000 every single year so that we can hire an engineer that can allow us to give 2 to 3 more projects, 2 to 3 more communities, complete 2 to 3 more projects every single year. That's the need. Look, the government's not doing the work. I hate to say it. The government's even stepping on toes and stopping from work from happening. They're corrupt. Look, my Peru Projects and Programs Director right here, he's from Lima. He's from Peru. I got another guy in the room, a really good friend of mine. He's from Peru. He knows what I'm talking about. They're not helping like they should. We need to raise $72,000 more every single year to give access to clean water to 2 to 3 more communities every single year. What does that equate to? Look, I know there's some guys, some women in this room that are a part of our recurring donor community, what we like to call the ripple, because we're making changes that will last for generations. Thank you, first and foremost. I'm not going to call you out. You know who you are, but I also know who you are. And the people that we're serving are the ones that are the greatest beneficiaries of your generosity. Thank you so much if you are a recurring donor already. But look, we need to flip this even further. If you're a recurring donor, please listen to what I'm about to say. Maybe you're giving at your limit, but maybe you can give more, and I would challenge you to do so. If you're not a recurring donor already, help us get to this $72,000 mark, whether that's a monthly gift or an annual commitment. It's very easy to do. Right in front of you on your tables, there are pledge cards, there are pins, there are envelopes. Write in your pledge, write in your gift right now. What does this look like? This looks like 120 people at what? Can someone help me? Can someone do the math? 120 people, how many people a month would help us to get to $72,000 a year? Who's really good at math? 600. No, it's actually not. 50 people at 50 a month would be what? 20, what was that? 2,500 a month. Times 12 would not be $72,000. In fact, 100 people at $50 a month, which would be $5,000 a month, would be $60,000 a year. We need every person in this room to help us cross this threshold. Please. If we can do this, literally, I am not joking you. We have developed a model, an approach, a system that works. It's sustainable. I promise you, we have developed a sustainable, we put in the last 2.5 to 3 years into developing a model and a system that works. Grab your pledge cards and help make this model last for generations to come. With your support, even just $50 a month, we can give access to clean water for one person for generations to come. Look, never doubt that a small group of people can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. If we could get the project pushed through, we'd probably have served 1,500 people this year alone. This community of Las Mercedes, kilometer 11, community of 1,000 people. We'd have community clean water for this community for generations to come. We'd also have clean water for another community called Serra de Leones, which we haven't been able to get to because all of our time and effort and dollars are being spent to move this other community's project forward because we don't have a dedicated engineer that can help us push the envelope to give access to clean water to another community. We'd have another community, Serra de Leones would have a community of 500 people would also have access to clean water right now. That's the reality. So I know y'all are sitting here and you're thinking, what do I do? There's no gift that's too small. We have people giving anywhere from the equivalent, anywhere, literally, the equivalent of anywhere between $10 a month to $5,000 a month equivalent. No gift is too small. Fall in that range. You're not insignificant. You give $10 a month, that's 2+ people every single year that will get access to clean water. And if you can help us push this button and get to the $72,000 a month, a year total, we will be able to hire this engineer. We will give access to clean water to 3 to 4 people, 3 to 4 communities every single year. 3 to 4 more communities. We're talking about 3,000 to 4,000 more people. grab your pledge card, please. I'm going to call Ryan back up. He's going to close us out. Thank you so much. In the words of Blessed Pier Giorgio Frassati, verso lauto.
Thank you, Jacob. Good. All right. Awesome. Cool. Okay, so we are just about there to wrap up the night. Thank you all very much for coming out tonight. Thank you for your generosity to support this organization, Vera Aqua Vera Vita. You heard it from the man himself. It's not just going to stay in Peru. I see this thing expanding as we continue to support it, and as this community really begins to grow and take shape, not just in Dallas, but God willing, nationwide. And globally. It's such a beautiful mission, such a beautiful heart. Thank you for all the presenters that came out today, for Tom and the speed painting, for Giancarlo. Thank you, brother. I want to thank also the volunteers. My goodness, everybody knows you can't put something like this together in one day. All right, it takes months of planning. So thank you all very much for all the volunteers that dedicated their time. Do we have any announcements as far as the social media winner, Fernanda? Do we have any announcements on who has won the social media? We will post that on social media. That's a good answer. Okay, that makes sense. Good. All right. And we'd like to announce the golden raffle ticket. Do we have that? That's what everybody's been waiting for. Oh, yeah, we have a hat and the names, or okay. All right. How are we doing this?
Yeah. So
Pick a number.
you are going to pick a number, actually. How many tickets do you think we sold?
How many tickets
How many tickets do you think we sold?
of the golden tickets? Of 100 golden raffle tickets,
How many do you think we sold?
we sold 85.
I think we sold 85. How many did we sell?
I don't know.
You think we actually sold 85?
Did we? How
I
many did we
hope
sell?
so. I wish.
Oh, yeah.
I wish. We sold 22.
22. Okay.
Sold 22. Can you pick a number between 1 and 22?
Give it a little bit more time.
Hey, there's still people wanting to be a part of this. If you're not a part of it, are we a part of it? Put my name on the list.
You want to?
100%. Yeah,
All
I
right.
wanna be a part of it. $100. This thing didn't close. All right. Anyone else? Last time. This is the last chance. All right. We're talking about Cabo. We're talking about Tuscany or Vegas. Any last chance? Yeah. Put your name on the list. We have some other names. All right. I think we've got a few more. For the Harkins, what do we have? Last name? The Woods? Woods? Anyone else? Anyone else? All right. All right. So I think that got us to 24.
Did we have this guy?
In the back?
Yeah. Percy Allen.
Okay. 25.
Okay.
I think you got 3. Can you buy more
Did
than
he buy
one?
3?
No, you didn't.
Did he really buy 3? Joseph?
No, he just- Okay, all right, we're mixing up the numbers. Okay, mix them up. Final offers, final chance to enter. Okay. 1 out of 20, 25.
That is.
All right, this is what we're gonna do. This is how we're gonna.
No, you're good. You're good. You're in. You're in. You're in the drawing.
Okay, 1 out of 25. So this. How do we do this? Okay, I'll just pick it.
You gonna pick a number?
Yeah.
Between 1 and 25?
Actually, we're gonna do this. This side of the room, the first person to say 1 or 2 is what we're gonna go with. On this side of the room, the first person to say between 1 and 5 is what we're gonna go with. What do you think about that?
We
That could
can't
work.
sell 2.
No, it's gonna be one number.
I'm not.
Oh, but it could be, never mind. Bad idea. All right, I'll come up with a number. You ready? You let me know when I'm ready. The number between 1 and 25. 17.
17.
Who's that?
Checking. Beth Butler.
All right, Beth. Lucky number.
I'm pretty sure.
Where's Beth? Where is she? She's behind. She's the bartender. That's awesome. The bartender. Way to go, Beth. All right. That's awesome. Okay. Very good. Very good. Well, congratulations, Beth. All right. All right. Final. I just want to give a few words of thanks for again all the sponsors. Strope Insights, Absolute Equine, Westfall Engineer, UBSE Plumer, Lockwood Distilling. Want to thank Benny Keith and Nothing Bunt Cakes for their donations. And then lastly, I'd like to introduce our band. Is the band here? The band? We're still rocking and rolling? Yep. Okay, here we go. Dave Washburn Jazz Band is a traditional New Orleans style group playing hot swing, hot jazz swing, and Dixieland and big band tunes and so much more. You might also hear some Frank Sinatra style croon tunes or Elvis on Chuck Berry song and maybe even a polka or two, especially around Oktoberfest season. Yeah. The band plays many venues in the Metroplex, including weddings, corporate and private events, swing dances, parades, State Fair of Texas, and even some jazz funerals. But the band also provides music for smaller, quieter settings, such as special dinners, a cocktail hour, or brunch. Wherever you go, the trio or quartet looks to create a classy, jazzy ambiance for the occasion, from soft and sweet to Nola Bourbon Street. All right. You guys coming up? Let's do it. Tom. Oh, okay. Tear it down first, and then they're going to take over. Okay, very good. All right. Well, everyone, I want to thank you all so much for your time tonight. Thank you for coming out. Everyone, drive safe. Any final words?
I think we want to do a selfie. Who wants to be in the selfie?
Self us. Let's go.
Self us. All right, Chelsea, come on.
Like everybody or
Everyone.
Oh, everyone.
Wait.
Okay. This is for everyone. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. We want a selfie. Whoever wants to be a part of it. If not, safe trip home and everybody drive safe. God bless you.
Dance music.
Oh, yeah. We already went over that. Oh, wow. Water. Salt water. Oh, wait. Sorry, my bad. All right, we're gonna break down. Yes, thanks, Tom. All right. Thank you. Okay.
The party's not over yet to make sure they stay for dinner.
Okay, guys, the party's not over. There's dancing happening. Go ahead and take a break, get some water, but come back for the dancing. Huh? Yes, and there's wine and whiskey outside. The pools, whiskey pools. Take your pick.
Her husband had lost his leg in a motor taxi, and the guy that ran in the motor taxi wouldn't run in the motor taxi. Somebody ran into him. Who was back in the motor taxi? Like, it's such a bizarre culture. So I told the social worker, I'm like,